Okay, so let's move on to the next one, which is 잘 and 잘 못. This is for talking about proficiency. So in a previous lesson, we learnt about 못, and that's to talk about things that you cannot do. But there's gradients of these things, right? Sometimes you want to say that I can't do it very well. Or maybe you want to say the opposite. Maybe you want to say that I can do something very well. So 잘 means well in Korean. And you can also say 잘 못 to mean not well. So you can use this to give a range of your abilities and proficiencies at different things. For example, 저는 공부를 잘해요. 공부를 잘하다. It literally means to study well, but it really means to do well in school, to get good grades, something like that. So I do well in my studies, I get good grades, I do well at school. 저는 공부를 잘해요. 잘 못해요. 아니요, 잘해요. Okay, so we have two little words here, 잘 meaning well and 잘 못 meaning not well. So how do we use these in a sentence? It's very similar to how you use 못. You place it before the verb. So 먹다 becomes 잘 or 잘 못 먹다, to eat well or not well. Now, in English, it might seem a bit strange to talk about eating well or not well, but it's very commonly used in Korean, typically for food that you like or things that you eat often. You can say things like 잘 먹어요. And it's also often used for things that maybe not everyone likes, like maybe not everyone likes kimchi, for example. So if you say 김치를 잘 먹어요, it implies that either you eat kimchi often, you eat kimchi, you like kimchi. It can mean that you enjoy eating kimchi. It can mean anything like that. So 잘 먹어요. And you can say 잘 못 먹어요. I don't eat it well, to be the opposite of those things. 듣다 is to listen. So 잘 or 잘 못 듣다 is to listen well or not well. 공부하다 becomes 공부 잘 or 잘 못하다. Remember that we have these separable versus non-separable verbs. We covered this in a previous live stream. Basically, separable hada verbs are verbs that are combined of a noun plus hada. And certain grammar forms, like this one here, need to go in the middle of separable hada verbs. And kombu hada is separable. It's the combination of kombu, which means study, and hada, which means to do. So you need to put 잘 or 잘 못 between kombu hada. So kombu 잘 하다 or kombu 잘 못하다, to study well or not well. And this is the same with 노래하다, which means to sing. This is also a separable hada verb. So you would say 노래 잘하다 or 노래 잘 못하다, to sing well or not well. So some example sentences. 김치를 잘 먹어요 means I eat kimchi well or I'm good at eating kimchi. 김치를 잘 못 먹어요 means I don't eat kimchi well or I don't really like to eat kimchi. 노래를 잘해요 means I sing well or I'm a good singer. And 노래를 잘 못해요 means I don't sing well or I'm not a good singer. 공부를 잘해요 means I study well, I do well in my studies. 노래 못한다, yeah, me too. And 공부를 잘 못해요 means I don't study well, I don't do well in my studies. Now notice how there's not one set translation for these sentences. These sentences are very normal, very natural in Korean, and there's not one set way that we translate them in English. You can feel pretty liberal with your English translation. You can kind of write it whichever way you think sounds most natural to you. But you shouldn't be focused too much on how to translate it to English. Just keep in mind that it's the whole idea of proficiency. 잘 is things that you do well. 잘못 is things that you don't do well. Okay? Hello. What does the 해요 indicate? That is the present tense form of the action verb to do. So 해요 is just to do some action. 공부를 해요 means to do study. 공부 means study. And 노래를 해요 means to do singing, because 노래 means sing. Yeah, sure, no worries. Okay, so that's 잘 and 잘못.